Aloha and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Living in Hawaii. Today, we are going to be discussing the topic of best beaches revealed. And not only are these such beautiful beaches here in Hawaii, but they're also treasured land spots that are very dear to us. You know, our land here in Hawaii is so precious and important. And I thank you folks for being here today and sharing your favorite beaches here in Hawaii. We're also going to talk about our favorite summer pastime. Great. So we are going to go ahead and share our best beaches, starting with you, Soraya. Go ahead and share with us your favorites and why, please.
Absolutely. So my favorite beaches are Hapuna Beach, Kukio Beach, and Makalawina Beach on the Big Island. So Hapuna is my favorite because it's really, really wide. Some days there's absolutely no waves. You can easily just chill in the water. And other days the waves are like twice my size. And I'm 5'10". So they're very intimidating to me. So it can be a great boogie boarding beach. That's why I love Hapuna. Very easy to drive to and a great spot to hang out. The next beach that I love is Kukio Beach. The reason why I love this beach is because there's almost nobody there ever. You have to get a pass from the guard in order to get in. They have a parking lot to drive almost all the way to the beach. And I don't know if you can see, but on the right side, there's a protected cove. So if you have young children, they can hang out in a very shallow water, and they have great facilities for little kids and everyone. And on the left side, there's great snorkeling. There's always turtles. I've seen multiple seals in this area. I just really love that. And the third beach that I love is Makalawina. And the reason why I love this beach is because it's a little bit of a hike. It's really hard to get to. You have to have a car with a nice clearance. But once you get there, it's a great beach because, again, there's almost no one there. I like it because there's lots of waves, it's protected, but there is a little bit more wind at that beach, which I enjoy because it's cooler, because you're surrounded by lava rocks and it can get quite hot. So I like this beach because you can snorkel, swim, and it's cooler and there's no one there. I love it.
Definitely top three beaches here on Hawaii Island, Hapuna, Kukio, and Makalawena, and they're all gems. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Looks like we're going to go ahead and jump to Kara's favorite beaches on Maui.
Wonderful. There's so many beaches to choose from. So to say just three, it was very, very hard. We're blessed with many beaches from North Shore all the way down to South, and it's incredible. But I'd have to say, out of all the ones that I personally like, is Napili Bay. This is where we started having our babies and going into the sweet waters of this crescent bay that is so protected and so crystal clear. There's snorkeling on both sides because of the lava rocks and the jetty that's there. You get to look at Lanai and Molokai. It's beautiful. It's a great space to just say, wow. And it's seasonal and it's never, ever a bad snorkeling space. Seen thousands over the course of my 20 years, it feels, turtles and great trumpet fishes. Fantastic for boogie boarding and skin boarding. So perfect. Love that bay. And the next is McKenna Cove. If anybody sees these iconic pictures, they're everywhere because McKenna Cove is not known as the wedding cove. This is where people come to take their wedding pictures during the sunrise, during the beautiful day, and also in the sunsets. It's just extraordinary. Again, because there's a little bit of a walk to get in, and you have the green and the lava rocks and the clear waters. And of course, the island that's beyond that is Ka'aolave. And that's just another sign of an incredible view that you get there. And also there's right there at the sunset, you'll see the crest of Molokini Crater. It's gorgeous. And the next one is the Keawakapu Beach. This one is a little tiny beach that's right at the end of the McKenna Strip. And when you come in, you have the hotel, the feeling of a resort, and you have the jetty, and the salt there is just incredible. You get to just buoyantly bounce in the water, and it gives you a little bit of everything. And then again, the sunsets are just ridiculous. Great snorkeling. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely beautiful. They're so stunning, and it definitely makes me want to go to Maui right now. Thank you so much for sharing. How about for you, Kat? We look forward to hearing of all the beauty that Kauai has to offer.
So Kauai has the best beaches. and all, like Kara was saying, all over north, east, south, and west. But my favorite, because it's close to my home, is Salt Pond Beach. Salt Pond is great because there's two entrances to it. They make the Hawaiian salt there too. So you can go into a protected cove area. If you have little keiki, they can swim. On the other side, there is the main entrance to Salt Pond, where there's a reef that protects the keiki from the big waves that come in, and it's nice. They have their restroom setups and everybody brings their parties there and everybody just hangs out over there. But on this side, where my picture is the airport side, where it's just a little more laid out and people can actually bring their pets with them. There's, in the picture with a couple of monk seals just sunning. And it's just beautiful. In the distance, you can see some kite surfers because the waves are bigger on the outer reef. And it's just nice to see kite surfers and windsurfers. But then it calms down once it gets to the beach. So that's one of my favorites. And that is on the south side going west. Another one is Hanalei Bay. Of course, this is the north shore of Kauai. And Hanalei is just iconic. This is taken from the new One Hotel that they just built, and the sunsets are just incredible. The swells that come in and the sets that come in, such a spot for surfers and stand-up paddlers. And there's also a pier where the keiki can jump off, and it's just a beautiful crescent beach and lovely. Some of the seasons, the waves get ridiculous, so you have to be careful and just know when to go out, when to not go out. But it is just beautiful on the North Shore. Another beach is Kalihivai, where there's a river that comes and it meets with the ocean. And so it's just a beautiful, beautiful beach where you get the calmness of the river. And there's rope swings for the kids to jump off of and everything. But then it empties out into the ocean, and it's, it's just a beautiful, beautiful spot. But come to Kauai and you can see all of those beaches for yourself and explore even more.
That's so beautiful. And I just love how we all feel that our island has the best beaches ever. So that's just the beauty, of Hawaii is there's just so much that we're able to share. Every wave, sand, palm tree, they represent such cultural and historical significance. And it's just so beautiful that we get to share that throughout all of our islands. Every island, there's something so beautiful there. So thank you so much for sharing. And for myself, like Soraya, my favorite beaches are Makalavena, Kiholo, and Kapalawa. So we'll start with Makalavena. Just as Soraya shared, this is probably one of the beaches that is not surrounded by resort right now. And that's the beauty of Makalavena to me, is that it's not surrounded by the resort, and it does take extra effort to get there. But when you're there, it makes the hike and the drive so well worth it. So we present to you Makalavena Beach here on Hawaii Island. Moving along, my next favorite beach was also Kiholo Bay. And here it is very protective. You can see the turquoise, crystal clear blue waters. It's just so beautiful. And Kiholo too is also another beach that doesn't have a resort as well. And it does take, a nice long hike. It's not as treacherous as Makalavena. And Kiholo Bay is just so beautiful. You're like, on your own private island, just so serene. And we love Kiholo. My other favorite is Kapalawa. And this beach is actually just off of Anaiho'omalu Bay. So it's south of Anaiho'omalu Bay for those of you who are familiar with that resort area. And it's just beautiful. It's perfect for snorkeling, perfect for children and families. Not much waves. You can do some fishing as well. Our family pastime, which we'll share on the next screen, will be for throwing net and doing all the fun cultural things there. But Kapalawa is also very beautiful and dear to me. So that we have here on the beautiful beaches here on Hawaii Island. We're now going to talk about our favorite summer pastime. This is so awesome. I love that we get to share this with each other. We're going to go ahead and start with Soraya.
Yeah, so my favorite pastime is tennis. It's so fun. There is a free tennis court in Kona, So they have, I believe, 4 courts, and a lot of people join together. There's meetup times. And what I love about the summer is that they open it up in the evening. So you can play, the lights are on until I believe 10 p.m. now, which is great. It used to be 8 p.m. in the winter. And so usually we have groups of 16 or more people, and we kind of change the doubles team. So it's really, really fun. And then I also have a picture of the Royal Kona tennis courts that they just resurfaced. It's very cheap. I think it's $15 or $10 a day if you're trying to just play while you're here for a few days. And they have a lot of social play. So for me, it's definitely my favorite activity of the summer.
Beautiful. Love that. Thank you very much for sharing. Kara, you get to share with us now on your favorite pastime in the summer.
I have to say that because Maui has both incredible mountains and forests to explore and also beaches to explore, it was hard for me to choose one specific topic. So I just said exploring, because I have to say that there's so much, even after 20 years of being here, there's so much to see. And I highly, highly recommend going to the Makawao Forest, which is the picture to the right. The trees are extraordinary. And if anybody's from California and they've seen the redwoods, this is a kiss of home. Not that they're as big as the redwoods, but it has the feeling of the redwood forest. And you go in and it's a magical land, and it completely transports you. There's so many hiking places on Maui that are extraordinary, but this Makawao Forest, to me and my family, this is where I call home for hugging trees, because that's really what I love to do. I also love to explore all the beaches to find heart-shaped rocks. I have to say that I am that cheesy person that walks across the beach and sees every piece of coral and says, that one's for me, that was for me, that's for me, that's for me. So you can't help but feel loved and see the love and the aloha. Everywhere you go, on every single beach, there's inevitably a piece of coral that's shaped in a perfect heart shape. So there's nothing more that I could impart on you than to go explore Maui, and you will find love and aloha everywhere.
That is so beautiful. It makes you just want to go and hug a tree right now and explore all the islands. Thank you
and
so
make
much,
jewelry.
Kara.
And make jewelry from the items that you see on the beach and in and amongst the trees. So you can do all these wonderful things too. Just don't take coral home.
Exactly. Very, very resourceful. As long as we're taking care of the land, which we'll talk about in the latter part, is, being able to utilize all the resources that we have here in Hawaii, but we do need to be responsible and take care of what's given to us as well. Thank you so much for sharing. That was awesome. Kat, go ahead and share with us your favorite summer pastime.
Well, Kara, that just makes me want to go out and hug our rainbow eucalyptus trees here. They're beautiful. The bark comes off and it opens up into just all these colors on this tree. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's a rainbow on a tree. Like, ah. And it smells good too. Well, here on Kauai, there's a lot of adventurous activities here. A lot of people surf, do the high impact sports and everything, but me, I'm lazy. I like to snorkel. I like to float. And so snorkeling is one of my favorite summer pastimes. Or it's not even summer, it's all year round here in Hawaii, because we're in Hawaii, really. And so snorkeling and just looking at all the little fishies and just, floating and watching the earth and ocean do its thing is I love that. It just makes me feel like, oh yes, okay, so I am a part of this whole thing, and I'm doing what I need to do to absorb and then to release. So, and being in the ocean is it's therapy in itself. So I would just encourage everyone to be able to jump in the ocean. If you're feeling a little way, just jump in the ocean and let the water just take it all out. That's what I love doing. So I'm not like a super sports person, but floating is my sport.
I love that, Kat. That is so beautiful, and having the privilege of being here in Hawaii, it's so important to be grounded and connect with connect with the land, connect with the ocean, and being able to just go to the ocean and cleanse, is really what it is. And back in the, Hawaiian days, we would call that, hi'uvai. You go to the ocean and you cleanse, you get revived, you get refreshed and renewed. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that part, of being able to be here in Hawaii. We do have the privilege of just going and cleansing and just resetting, and preparing for the next day. And how much more now can you give back to the land and the ocean, now that you've recharged, you've regrouped yourself, and now you can just give more back, to the community and to the Aina. So thank you. That's beautiful. So for me, my favorite summer pastime, I'm going to take it back to my childhood days, was always family camp. We've always done family camp. This day and age, you see all the kids doing tons of sports, which is beautiful, or on their electronics. We never had that back in the day. And sometimes I want to take it back to old school because we never had cell phones. We had to literally go outside and play till the sun goes down and the lights on the street turn off. And that was just my favorite pastime, was being able to go and camp. The first picture on the left, you'll see this is kukailimoku, known as baby ponds. And back in the day, we basically grew up there. There were no homes. We had to access the beach through the older port, as it's still there, by the horseshoe pit and the tennis courts. That's where we used to park and hike into baby ponds, which is kukailimoku to me. And our family would always camp there. Nobody was there, no homes, no other people. We had the whole beach to ourselves. And I really, really miss that. So that's one of my favorite spots there. And then of course, the middle picture is at Makalavena. And back in the day, we would have the key to the gate. So our family had access to camping there all the time, and I miss that so much. Fortunately, we do have connections now with Kamehameha Schools and Bishop Estate to gain access through Makalavena, but also, that again was our favorite family beach to go. And we made friends with the gentleman that lives there. His family, there's only that one house, the caretaker, that lives there. And so we're so blessed to be able to still be connected to Makalavena. And then of course, Miloli'i, you'll see the picture there is the last fishing village in Hawaii. We're always able to go down to Miloli'i and camp. My children have never been to Miloli'i. So that's shame on me. I need to go and take them back down there and just rekindle all the things that we used to do as children. But Miloli'i was very, very dear to our family, and the time well spent there was just so beautiful. So thank you for allowing me to share that with you folks. So I want to talk about really quick before we bid a fond aloha. We have, again, the privilege of living here in Hawaii. And I wanted to talk about, if you ladies don't mind sharing, the responsibility that we have of being here in Hawaii and being able to explore all the beaches throughout our island. If you can share, one significant, that you can share with our friends and family, something significant that we can do to contribute and help, malama ka'aina, taking care of the land. Again, Hawaii is so sacred and dear to each and every one of us. And I'm sure we can share something so important to our friends and family of what we can do to contribute and help preserve the land so that it still can remain beautiful for generations to come. So Sarai, if you don't mind sharing with us something special, that we can do better to take care of our land here while we're exploring all the beaches.
Use the right sunscreen. I think that is so key, because one of the things that I fell in love with when I came to Hawaii was really the marine life. And it's so vibrant. We had gone to other islands and I didn't experience as much marine life as I did in the Big Island. And so to me, that is very important. I always make sure to use, reef-friendly sunscreen. It's really disheartening to be at the beach and see, I understand they're cheaper, so I get it, but it really makes a huge impact when you look at the amount of people who come to the islands. So that to me is the most important thing. If you're coming, please use the right sunscreen. It's a little investment, but it preserves the ocean life for everyone in the future. It has such a great impact if you use the right sunscreen.
That is so true and so important. Growing up, it didn't matter what brand or what was in the sunscreen, and that's just how it was. But yes, nowadays it's so important. So thank you, Sarah. That is so crucial for all of us to know here. Thank you for sharing. How about for you, Kat? What can you share for us?
I mean, same thing with Soraya. Use the right sunscreen. And I just remember during COVID when our island just shut down, when there were not as many people on the beaches, not use, I mean, so there's not a lot of people, so not as much sunscreen, so not as much activity. Just all the marine life started coming back, and it was just magical. And it was like, oh my gosh, like it's really how quickly it impacted the marine life at the beaches and everything was just amazing. I mean, it was just amazing how fast all the animals were coming back. And it was like, oh wow, here we go. Okay. And then, when we started opening up again, it just started going back out. Like if you think of yourself as a fish in the water and you're like swimming in sunscreen, you can't breathe. Another tidbit of advice is like when you come to the islands and enjoy the beaches, if there is any trash around you, just take note, pick it up, take it out with you. It's not a big deal. It just is around your area. And even like, a little further, just pick it up, pack it, take it out. It's your beach, it's our beach, we all share. So that's my tidbit.
So true and so important. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kat. And you just gave me chicken skin, just reflecting back to COVID and all the pictures that everyone would post online of what it was prior to COVID and then what it was during COVID. Oh my gosh, talk about the beauty of everything was just so beautiful, and that's just, it's so sad to see that over the course of time, things do change, we understand that. But if we can contribute and do our part and be that better change, it definitely makes Hawaii even bigger and better, than what it was before. So thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm. How about for you, Kara? What can you share with us on what we can do better responsibly here in Hawaii on our beaches?
Well, I have to say thank you for putting this slide up because I wanted to make note that this has a heart that I can't help but see. This beautiful bay has a heart. And this is what I was going to speak about, is that when you come to any of the Hawaiian Islands, no matter what, Maui, Kauai, Oahu, anywhere, is to come with reverence in your heart. Come with honor in your heart. This is a beautiful, beautiful place to enjoy, but also to receive from. And no matter where we go, like Kat was saying, look at it as if this was your home and think about how you can leave things better, leave your mark of aloha, leave your mark of joy of having such a beautiful time here, that you're adding to the collective happiness and love that we have to offer. And when it's specifically at the beaches, the one thing that I would really like to say is that this is a sacred place. And when you take something, ask first. Meaning, every time I pick up a shell, I ask and I bless and I thank before. And if I feel like I ask Mama Maui, I'm like, may I? And if I feel no, I put it back. And if I feel yes, and I know it's going to go towards something beautiful and I can feel that, then I receive it. But I don't take and I don't destroy. So I would like to say that if you think of that, be really mindful of what you're doing at the beaches and how you're receiving items, and just always with honor. That's all I have to say. And the sunscreen, most definitely.
That is absolutely beautiful, Kara. And you hit it on point, all of you, from the sunscreen to picking up the trash and the opala. We make it an extra effort, everywhere you go, always have a trash bag, because there's so much opala that others leave behind. And that's the sadness of it, is not everyone comes with aloha. And that's what we need to continue to share, is wherever you go, yes, do all things with aloha. And Kara, you hit it on point. Yes, you do a pule, you ask, anytime you take from the land, you have to be able to give it 100-fold back. And that's just how it is here, and believe it or not, if you do something that is not pono or not right, you will feel it. You will completely feel it. And that's just how Hawaii Island works. It's very sacred, very spiritual, very, cultural. And thank you so much for respecting all of that, because it's so important. We have to share all of that. As growing up, I was always taught, wherever you go, when you leave that place better than how you found it. And if it's going to take an extra effort to do an entire beach cleanup, then you do it. And if it's not within your capacity at that moment, you make time, you go back and you go and clean up everything that you saw before you left. And that's just how it was, and we need to do that, you know, collectively together as a family. It's so important. We have so much responsibility. So thank you so much, ladies, for sharing, because that was just absolutely beautiful. So that pretty much wraps it all up. We thank you once again for allowing us to share our aloha with you. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Continue to live aloha daily everywhere you go. We love you. We thank you. And again, mahalo.
Thank
Aloha.
you.
Mahalo.
Aloha.